All right. Oh, that's one thing I forgot to do. Do. The longest part of the entire process. Because the game bar absolutely smells. Come on. Is yeah. I think. Actually no, what am I doing? I gotta test him by getting him in here. That would help as well. Bum 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 bum. Oh. Am I getting feedback on that? Oh Jesus, what is that? What's causing that to ping? Where's that then? What's doing that? Oh, okay, if I just turn this down. I don't know why it's doing that. I guess we'll find out together when I invite him into the party, I suppose. Very weird. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't know why it's doing that. Is he appearing offline? Is he one of these appear offline? Yeah, he is. 898 days. That's an impressive streak. Oh, that's why. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. Okay. Has that muted me? No, it hasn't. All right. We're working. Blazer guns. God bless you, my friend. Are you racing tonight? I will say this, Sergio. You've never been in this party before. My Gamer Word account. Mute the Gamer Word account.
I'll do what now?
Mute the other account in the party because that's my microphone account, or else you'll hear an echo.
Oh, right. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. So I'm doing it in a roundabout way. And then say a big long sentence for me.
Hello, my name is Sergio, and I'm absolutely stupid.
There we go. It's perfect. We're good volume. All right, I'm on my way. Yeah, it took a while. I said I was panicking a little bit there because, like, wait, excuse me. I have F1 installed. Oh my god, I'm going to have to install F1 quickly. I knew there was something I was forgetting. It's alright. I got really good internet. We'll be fine. I'll be there in like 10 minutes max. We can just do the breakdown on the dashboard. Wait a minute. I just lost my game invite. Mother of God. Right, well. Bear with me.
You good?
Yeah, I was running around because, like, this laptop is obviously kind of, like, new. Kind of. Understatement. And I was like, oh, why is this not turning on? Why is this not working? And then I realized I hadn't installed any of the software to actually get the capture card to work. So I was loading up Streamlabs, and then it was just a big portal of nothing. It was just a big black screen. So, yeah, I should make it in there for the race. It's saying 19 minutes to install F1. So I'm praying that my internet is fast enough. So we'll do build up on the dashboards. And I'll ping the Discord as well so they can hear build up in here. So let me just quickly do this. I got pinged in the F1 Discord as well. That's wonderful. Any spots open? That'll be one for Michael. That'll be one for you, Michael. Important information. Michael's already posted it. Wonderful. What a guy. Sensational. All right. Well, if you're here joining me, as you probably would have seen, and me and Sergio, I got a new laptop. Like a couple of weeks back, and I forgot to, number one, install the drivers for the actual capture card. That's why I was slightly late. So when I was opening up Streamlabs, I was just getting a big black screen of nothing. So I had to install all that quickly. Then I was thinking, I've forgotten something. I was like, oh yes, the actual game. That would probably help, wouldn't it? Luckily enough, I've got decent internet, so I may well miss the quali. But we've got Sergio here in the background to give us updates on anything impressive or important that happens in quali anyway. And then, of course, the race start time tonight, roughly going to be around about 10 o'clock as per usual. Different days, same times, different voices. it's all fun and games. The same drivers, of course. The test today will be how well does Chizzy do on a grid on a different day to his usual preferred Wednesday. What a race to start the season as well, Sergio. Baku, that's the castle of death, right? That's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the right track, no?
Yeah. This is the famous one that Charles Leclerc put it headfirst into a wall in that zone and created the meme of "I am stupid."
Yeah, I mean, from the limited, because again, I'm always the guy that I wanted to carry on the F1 league after the other one kind of went its own direction, because I enjoy watching it every Wednesday. And the thing that I know about Baku and Azerbaijan now as a track is, number one, it's a very love-hate relationship track. There are some people on the grid that love the track. There are some people on the grid that absolutely despise the track. And the other thing is that it's got the highest kill rate on a VFL grid. I've seen Baku raced in my time on VFL 3 times. And if my memory serves me correct, we saw 7 retirements, 9 retirements, and 7 retirements, or something like that. Like, we've seen a lot of, like, people have trouble in this track for some reason, whether it's the aggressive nature of the track, whether it's the I think the twisty and turniness, the bends. I don't know what sector it is, roughly. That's more your department, but the sector around the castle, really, really difficult. So, I mean, what is it for you? Why do you think we see so many retirements, so much death on Baku? Is there anything in particular that you're looking at and you're saying that's the reason why?
Well, first of all, it's a street circuit. Street circuits are always 10 times more deadly than standard circuits. Take Silverstone, for example, because there's big rough areas, loads of grass, and just green areas where if you do go off track, it's not a problem. You're not going to go into a wall straight away. Whereas tracks like here in Azerbaijan, sorry, Monaco as well, that's a bad one.
Mm.
You've got no forgiveness. The walls are there, and they're not going to let anything through them. And there's a lot of tight corners here as well. So just like you were speaking about there, so the section you're on about with the castle, that's sector 2. And the midpoint of sector 2 is the castle, left, right, left, and then a long-ish sort of straight after that with a couple of slight curves as you go around the circuit. So there's a mix of corners here, but I think it's the 90-degree turns that catch a lot of people off, because
I think you're bang
it's a
on
bit
there.
too square.
I think you're bang on, because when we saw this exact track back last season in season 2, I think we saw a couple of retirements, not all of them. The majority were around that castle area, but we did see a couple of retirements. I think it was on a straight which leads towards the new lap line, and it was very kind of like rectangular, the turn, and we saw someone, I think, completely lose their wheel going into that turn, that 90-degree turn. So I think you're absolutely bang on. I think the sharpness of this street track is definitely going to be an impactful factor today. I mean, you're looking at this, you're a massive F1 fanatic, a massive F1 fan. When you look at this calendar, the 10 tracks in order: Azerbaijan, Abu Dhabi, Miami, Vegas, Brazil, Belgium, Monza, Bahrain, Austria, and then obviously Britain. I mean, is there any tracks, in a row, or any kind of like race weeks there that you're looking at and going, oh, that's going to be a tricky one, or that's, 2 back-to-back tricky ones? How do you look at that calendar? How do you assess that calendar?
I think in my opinion, the trickiest ones are actually going to be the 2 USA tracks. For me personally, whenever I've been taking part in sim racing in general, so not just F1, just any kind of sim racing, because I do a lot of tin top racing as well. And you take cars around those tracks like Miami, for example, or Vegas. They run a lot hotter than most circuits, so the tires burn up a lot quicker. They do stick to the ground a bit better, but you lose that grip a lot quicker than what you normally would in different places like Silverstone, for example. And not only that, you've got Las Vegas, which, don't get me wrong, another street circuit, lovely circuit, but it's tricky because you haven't had as much time to get used to that as other circuits. For example, Brazil, been on the calendar for years. Belgium, Monza, all the same. They've been there for years. Drivers, whether they're on the sim, in person, whatever it is, you've had experience. You know roughly what that circuit has to throw at you. Whereas tracks like Miami and Vegas, they're on the newer side, not as common, popping up for different racing. So I think that's going to be the hardest part. But it's an easy bounce back after that, because, like I was saying, Europe, Brazil, Belgium, Monza, those are the 3 straight after that. So you've got an instant bounce back from the newer tracks to the old tracks the ones that you should know as a racer.
And I mean, for you then, do you look at this? I mean, because of course, I know that you were originally kind of doing the GP2 stuff last season for us. I mean, you know the grid of drivers. I mean, you recognise some of the names here racing tonight. I mean, the season has the likes of Chizzy in there. I don't think we've managed to kind of coax Louis Welch out of retirement because he was just so far and above everyone else. But I mean, who are you looking at this season to really kind of push for the championship? Do you see Chizzy potentially reclaiming this one, or do you look at anyone and say that that's a serious dark horse contender for you?
Yeah, I think Chizzy's going to be up there. I don't know a ton about Chizzy. This is the first time broadcasting over their racing, but
you're going to love him.
Taking like people that I know, for example, like I've seen VRL Kieran here and there. I've seen HDNO as well. I think those two are going to be up there. Rai has some good pace. When he was down with us in GP2 for a few races before he went back to GP1, obviously he was wiping the floor GP2, came up to GP1. He was kind of sitting around P8 mark. But I feel like that could be a dark horse. If he's put any practice in between last season and now, that could be someone pushing up there. But I can tell you this, and he's going to hate me for calling him out as well. In the Racing Bull cons, I can tell you right now, based on last season, he's going to finish last.
Okay.
He did not finish a race last season. It was either a crash or a DQ. And it half of the time wasn't his fault, but that was only 50% of the time. The other 50%, it was on him. But that's someone to look out for the other end of the table.
Okay, well, there you go. I mean, the thing you said about VRL Kieran as well, I think everyone that's seen a VFL F1 race now just knows how, I think explosive is the word to describe Kieran. Kieran has got the ability to win races outright. Kieran's got the ability to dominate races outright. The way that Batistuta used to call VRL Kieran is that he was a quali driver. He was a quali racer. Have this incredible quali every single week. You know, in the qualies he would finish first, second, never lower than third in the qualies. But then you go to the race, and it depends how the race starts. Kieran can either be the type of driver that wins the race outright and has a perfect 20, 25, 30 laps and is absolutely dominant. Or Kieran could be the driver that has 8 clean laps, 1 mistake, 1 poor turn, 1 bit of oversteer, and then boom, you know, he loses his wing, and then there's no interest from Kieran to recover. It's straight in the pits. Oh, wow, I can't win this one. I'm out of here. So that's always been the thing with Kieran, is that we know he's a quality driver. We know that he has got excellent race IQ, but it's just that temperament. It's just that attitude. It's just that almost behavior of, can he mentally convince himself to, if there is an issue, persevere and bounce back. And we've seen it last season. Last season with Neddy in GP1. There was a point in time when I think Neddy, I don't know if it was Baku or not. It would be ironic if it was Baku. But there was a point in time when Neddy, for example, had drifted all the way back to around about P10 and then literally outlasted people. Didn't get any penalties, nothing. And then I think he finished in P3. So it is, I mean, for F1 as a guy watching it, not really playing it because that'd be absolutely terrible. And I don't know if you'd agree with me on this, but for F1, for these kind of races, for league races, for comp races, for sim races, I think 50% of it is track knowledge and speed and pace. But I do think the other 50% of it is attitude and is the ability to kind of, you know, peel yourself off the floor if something goes wrong in those early moments of the race.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, when it comes to when I'm racing myself, I mainly race on a service called iRacing, and that is half like the actual racing, and then the other half is literally just it's a mental battle. It's all a case of you need to get your laps consistent, and then you need to keep in that mindset of constantly chipping away at little things. So as a race develops, you'll pick up maybe some bad habits, or there'll be something your opponent's doing in front of you or even behind you, and you're picking up on that and you're reacting to that in a negative way that's actually putting you off your line. For example, defensive driving. If you're looking in your mirrors while someone's following you, you know, that's going to put you off your line a little bit. That's going to impede on your exit speed. It's going to add in little bits that are really going to hinder your pace overall in a race. So half of the battle for me is just mental stuff, and it's mental strength. You know, if you're strong enough mentally while you're racing and under immense pressure as well, obviously you're going to be cut out for it. You're going to be amongst the lads at the top.
Yeah, I mean it's completely complete. Couldn't agree any more than what you said. That I think, like I said, it's such a big thing as well. Not just Kieran. Again, it's easy to point out with Kieran because again, how many races I've seen in Kieran, but there are guys in there as well. I've seen people like Chizzy before. Chizzy has one bad exit towards the end of the race, one bad sector, and then head goes, and he doesn't really have any belief that he can catch up and compete anymore. People are just coming in, joining us as well. As you see here, like I said, it got a new laptop in December, so I had to reinstall all the software for the capture card, so I was a little bit late getting on. And then I was like, I've forgotten something. It was to actually install F1. So, 5 minutes away from gameplay. The lads currently in I mean, you're in the lobby, aren't you, Sergio? I mean,
Yes.
what does qualifying look like? What are we seeing so far? Who is setting a time that is impressing you? Who is concerning you in quali so far? What are you seeing from your side?
So far, more or less what we've said about certain drivers is pretty much bang on. The standout at the minute as well will be a person called Fredster,
Okay.
racing for the Kick Sauber. Disqualified for blocking pit lane immediately in the qualifying session. So Fredster is guaranteed P20 in this race because the moment the session started, it popped up, he was disqualified. So that's one car out. Now we're down to the last 19. Neddy is yet to set a lap time. But then we look at the top of the table. VRL Kieran, right at the top,
Yeah.
138.340. And then just in behind, you've got Chrissy, 138.730. So there's 0.390 between the two times. So it's very tight up there. But like you were saying earlier, it could be a case of if Kieran is a qualifying driver, shall we say?
Yeah.
The race could well play in Chrissy's hands here as well, because that sprint from the start finish line to turn one is vital for both drivers. And if Chrissy gets it right, he could just run away with it if what you're saying is true.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like I said, I think it's exciting for me to get your opinion as the F1 expert on the other side of comms with me today. Into all these kind of profiles that we know, the profile of Kieran, the profile of Chizzy, and so forth and so forth. For you as a driver, that's a thing to kind of get to pick your head on, because again, everyone's different. When it comes to quali, are you more of someone like a Neddy who will sit there until the last couple of minutes and then go out and do your lap, or do you like to just kind of go out there straight away and just get your time set and then see where the chips fall?
I have two different tactics, and they're depending on what sim racing I'm actually doing. If it's F1, I'll go out for two. I'll go out twice. I'll go out at the very start, set a lap time, and that'll be my base lap time. That is just a safe time that I could get around, and I know and get around lap after lap. So it's just a standard pace, no pushing, nothing. And then I'll wait till like towards the end of the sessions, just like what they do in the real F1. And basically last minute go out, and then that's the one where we're pushing it to its limit and beyond. So then if that fails, I've got my safe lap time I can fall back on, and then I roughly know whereabouts in the pack I'm going to be sitting if I just stay consistently without pushing.
Okay. And I mean, for Baku, and I always ask this question as well, for Baku, perfect world for you, obviously the answer is going to be, P1 to start. But I mean, for Baku, is it one of those tracks where it's actually not going to be the worst thing in the world if you are someone like Fred starting at the back because you avoid all the chaos in the first couple of turns? Or would you prefer to or does it not matter in Baku being in the middle, being at the front, being at the back to start?
Well, it's great that you've asked that question, because that brings in some of the facts I do have for you here today.
Okay.
So, for example, at this particular track in F1, the average overtakes based on the last Grand Prix here was 66. So we'll see 66 roughly overtakes normally in a standard Grand Prix.
Okay.
But the safety car probability here is 57%, and the virtual safety car is 43%. So even if you're starting at the back, that might actually work out more beneficial for you than starting at the front, because we're talking almost over 50% for both stats there. So safety car and a virtual safety car, almost both are above 50%. Which, if you're a Fredster, that could really work out in your favour in terms of tyre strategy, in terms of pit stops. Because, for example, a pit stop around here as well is 19.7 seconds on average if you hit your limiters perfectly. That's including your 2.5 stationary obviously that is an average. Some teams may mess up the pit stop, so it varies. But on an average pit stop, 2.5, you're looking at 19.7 seconds in total in the pit lane. So under a safety car, obviously that does get slashed.
Yeah.
So it is a lot quicker in terms of track pace under safety car, which obviously, compared to most other Formula One tracks, it's almost guaranteed at this circuit compared to the likes
I'm
of...
telling you now, if we are going to be, the percentages in real life are going to be elevated here. I think there is a 150% chance we're going to be seeing some sort of safety car tonight. I'm telling you, mate. Like, I've seen these guys in GP1. You'd think, yeah, you know, GP1, that, you know, they know the track, they know the ins and outs, blah, blah, blah. There is going to be death in the streets of Azerbaijan this evening around that castle in particular. There is no doubts or concerns in my mind on that. I should be joining you in a minute because now I'm just looking at F1 just saying ready to start. So it's just finishing and then I'll be in the lobby with you. Talking of tyre strategy, you just touched on that as well. What would the ideal tyre strategy be in your case here tonight? How would you approach this if you were racing?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I'd probably start off on, if it was me personally, I'd be starting off on the mediums. Starting off on the medium because it looks like it's just judging on the how everything looks at the minute. To be fair, it's poor research from me. I didn't actually research what time the race is in game, but it looks like it's sort of evening. So the track's probably a little on the cooler side. So I'll be going mediums and then seeing what happens based on safety car. Because if I want to stay out that extra bit longer, I can because I'm on the medium tyre compared to the soft. And then I can go to the soft to attack if there is a safety car at any point in the race. So I feel like that will work out more beneficial for me, personally. But I know other people prefer to just put the hammer down and attack. For example, the first two, the front runners, they're probably going to want to put the softs on and just go for it and try and get in that lead. Because once you've got it, it's a bit like Monaco. It's not easy to hold it, but it's easier than other tracks to hold lead here.
Yeah. I would say so. I think I said when I've watched Baku before, I never really see a kind of, how do I word this? I never really see like a battle, like a, you know, a back and forth. Like you said, you said 66 overtakes on average. You never really see a back and forth P1 overtaking or P2 overtaking P1 and vice versa. It's always kind of very much someone leads the race for a large amount of laps and then it changes maybe towards the end. What I'm going to quickly do as well is I'm also going to hide all my labels so we can get the full screen here for F1. And I'm also, because I know people like this before when I did this, is I'm going to move my overlay up as well. So we have joined you. I've got, and it was 2 minutes to go. Look at that. You want to talk about being on time? That's me. So yeah, there we go. I'm here. I'll tell you what, it's a little bit misty here in Baku, isn't it? A bit of air pollution. Jesus Lord. Holy hell. Well, just slowly you can see me drifting my camera up. Don't worry, we're nearly at the top, lads. Don't worry.
But the good news is as well with the with what you were just mentioning there with the like what looks like air pollution, street tracks as well are quite good for low degradation on the tyres. So your grip is actually going to stay there for a little longer than what it would on open circuits. And being that it's looking like it's evening, looking like there's cool air / dust or dirt in the air potentially, that's actually going to add a little more slip onto the tyres as well. So if anything, there's a lot of things playing here on like keeping the tyres not only cool but keeping them fresh for longer as well, maintaining that rubber on them, and it's not going to scrub off easily over a few corners. You know, these races can really push it beyond its limits if they needed to for an overtake, maybe around the outside, for example, which would be a ballsy move around here.
It's fair. Well, listen, I can give you some information on some players, or some drivers here, should I say. So I think the top two tonight you're looking at is Kieran and Chizzy, obviously. Shadow's Gunner was, I think, for me, one of my drivers of last season. I loved how much he improved. In particular, Rozzy, wow. I mean, this kid had moments. We talk about Kieran being a quali driver, Sergio. Rozzy Wow is a moments driver. Said it's his first F1. But, I mean, there are moments when he looks phenomenal. There are moments where he looks still a little bit green, a little bit raw. Ryan Parker, everyone knows him. I mean, so much experience in F1. You would expect him to be high up in this grid tonight. Jamsey, another one that really pushed Chizzy to the edge. I think in 1, 2, 3 tonight, any order has to be Kieran, Chizzy, Jamsey, with maybe just maybe, someone like a Ryan Parker on the outside. Rye, brilliant middle of the pack driver. You got high hopes for him. I would love to see Rye do well tonight, but I think this grid is stacked. I will say that. Cons, I'll take your word on that. You don't think there's too much hope for him? Neddy, brilliant, consistent driver. Craig, brilliant, consistent driver. Benchwarmer, a fan favourite, a cult hero in Season 2 and Season 1. Michael, returning to the grid, wonderful driver on his day, but maybe gotten a little bit older, maybe gotten a little bit more reaction by his old age, who knows. Lucas back in the driving seat as well, a brilliant driver on his day. But Blazer Guns, this is someone that I absolutely can't wait to see. This is a kid, Sergio, that is more so a Forza driver. He plays in the Madden League with me that we do for VFL. He told me a couple of weeks ago he was doing a 24-hour community event, community race event on Forza, where they would have interchanging drivers, and he was staying up all night to race in it, and he was going to kind of swap out, do 3 hours here, take a break, 3 hours there. So he is an endurance driver. He loves it, does Blazer Guns. I'm very interested to see how he does here tonight. Frost Tactic, no offense to you, I see you in the chat. I have no idea how good, bad, and different you are in the Ferrari, a team with so much history in VFL. Dirty Hippo, Neymar, our favourite German Marcel, a brilliant driver on his day as well. Again, in GP1 last season, roughly floating around about that kind of GP7 to GP9 position. He'll be brilliant. And then Hayden Ellis at the bottom in 19th. He says, well, I hope you're ready for some theatrics and to show you how good I am still on F1 like I was before. Hayden Ellis was always on our grids back in the day, someone that was kind of in the bottom 3, bottom 5. But we love Hayden. Hayden's a great character to have around the track as well. And who knows, maybe Fred Starr tonight gives him a little bit of a push to avoid the bottom of the pile. I think it's a very spread grid. I think it's a very even grid. I think there's quality in every area. The top of the pack, the middle of the pack, the bottom of the pack. I'm interested to see Sir Quinniff as well. I've heard some things about Sir Quinniff. Is he good? Is he bad? Is he indifferent? I'm excited to see a couple of these guys for the first time tonight. I really am. So, yeah, we're not too far away from race start. Quali is set and done and dusted. A 1:38.34 in the end looks like the quali time to beat. Chizzy here may well pip it. No, he's not going to. But a 1:30, whatever I just said, a 1:34.34, I think it was, or a 1:33.34. How good is that for Kieran in terms of the pace, Sergio?
Absolutely unbelievable. The quickest lap time ever set around here was actually a 1:43. So in terms of real pace, absolutely phenomenal. But you can see the difference in the pack as well. You know, 1:38's at the top, and then you go down towards the bottom, it's 1:41. So it just shows you how much speed you can actually get around this track, and Kieran's proved that it's there. It's just a case of whether these drivers can actually pull that out. And the fact that Chrissy and Kieran are so tight at the top just shows you that that is probably going to be the limit where those guys are at. So now all the others have to try and meet that boundary. And
as you said as well, I said my guy, Shadows Gunner, your guy, Rye, 3rd and 4th in quali. Those are two names that you got to really cross your fingers for. I hope you have a fantastic season. Two brilliant characters, two brilliant drivers, two of the most improved on the grid. Again, a reminder, people listening here, please do not ready up until Michael, our race coordinator, gives you the go-ahead. Please do not ready up. Get your setups there, but do not ready up. It's an exciting race week 1 here, season 3, and we start off in the battlefield, the minefield, the Death Valley of Azerbaijan and Baku. Around that castle, there is usually souls to be claimed. The big question mark, of course, is who's going to take race week 1, who's going to take first place tonight. But also the question mark is who's going to die on the track first, because there is no chance that we have all 20 people finish this race tonight. If we do, I will give away a PS5. I will give away a Series X. I'm that confident that people are going to perish this evening that I would put that on the line. I'm telling you straight up now. But an exciting night, and it's an exciting installment here in the VFL F1 seasons. Like I said, so happy that we get to continue doing this, and so happy with Azerbaijan being our first track. A big thank you to Michael again for making this all possible and getting this kind of set up. So many people were just kind of confused with with what was happening in the last couple of months with this, but said we're here. We promised you F1 through VFL, and we're giving you F1 through VFL. So really happy to be here, and great to have Sergio with us as well. Yeah, I mean, listen, he's bringing up the stats, the figures, the pit times, the overtakes. He's got everything. He's like a human supercomputer when it comes to Formula 1. So there you go. We got a little bit of color commentary from me, and then you've got the facts, the figures, the numbers from Sergio. So should be awesome, should be good. I kind of got distracted and got disqualified. Said Fred, hey, it happens. Just don't do it in the race. Don't be an incident menace in the race. You're Griminus. Oh, okay, I didn't know. See, this is what I mean, Grim. You change your name constantly. I didn't know you were Grim. Well, there you go. Now I know Grim. Grim was good back in his day as well, but again, older, maybe a little bit more reaction. How well was he? Still in terms of that quality gap there as well. Henders, I was never good, and I'm still terrible. Just hoping that my horror qualifying can be made up in that race. Well, listen, it's not about being good, bad, or indifferent. It's about being here. It's about being consistent, Hayden. So you raced. I think the big thing with you, Hayden, was always never that you were bad. It was about the absolute Guantanamo Bay Wi-Fi that you were racing on, from what I remember. So, yeah, it's one of them. I've changed my name once in 5 years. Well, you better go change it back. It looks like we're good, though. Here we go. So, Joe, lights out, and we are away. First race of the season here in Baku. And let's see if we have any incidents here to start with on this first corner, this first turn. And it looks like it's pretty clean so far. No major incidents as of yet. What do you make of these tyre strategies then? No one coming out on softs, but everyone pretty much on mediums or hards, Sergio. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's different. It's what I would have gone for in terms of going with a medium to start with. Possibly some people out there may or may not have the same idea as me, where they're gambling on a safety car. And when that happens, then you can, more or less decide whether you want to keep going, because your tyres will naturally have a longer life than the softs. But here we go. I mean, already, here comes your chaos.
Yeah, Fred's still there. That's exactly what you said about back when we did the build-up earlier on. These street circuits, a lot more tight, a lot more kind of narrow, and this is the area. Let's keep our eyes peeled on this kind of incoming corner here towards the castle. This is the death corner, as we like to call it, that people usually have so much trouble on, and so many more cars start to spin past the walls of this great castle here early on in lap 1. So, I mean, this is the big thing for you as well. I wanted to ask you, there's always much debate about F1 drivers, about racers that, they say they need laps to find their rhythm. They need a longer race to find their quality control in a race. Is 26 laps for you? Is that enough? Is it just about right? Is it too little? How do you feel about 26 laps tonight?
Well, everyone compares it to the real F1, don't they? Which is a lot of laps. And in my opinion, 26 is more than enough for any race. I do a lot of endurance racing myself. I've been in multiple 24-hour races. I tend to do a lot of the 6-hour and 12-hour races. They're my common go-tos. And for those, you're looking at doing upwards of 200, 300, maybe even 400 laps per race. And obviously, to me, that is way too long, but I'm addicted to that kind of thing. But for F1, for sim stuff, I'd say 26 is spot on. This is exactly what you need. It's just enough that people can find their rhythm, and it's just short enough that you could have an underdog spring up, get some luck, and pull off an absolute miracle. It could be a Grimsby Town Man U situation. You know what I mean? It's like someone could really pull something out of the bag tonight, and not only tonight, but all throughout the season, because the races aren't long enough that longevity comes into it.
Well, I'll tell you the interesting thing so far. First kind of bit of breaking news for you in this one. Dino, you talked a little bit about there, went into the pits. I think he was the victim of that crash earlier on. No safety car, obviously, but he's out there now on softs. What do you make of that? Softs this early, 2 laps into a 26-lap race. I mean, is that just to get some pace back? What do you think he's thinking there?
Yeah, that call I'm not too sure on. That could just be a case of possibly forgetting to change the tyres in terms of the compound. It might just be a case of now Dino stopped once already, possibly going to stop again towards the end of the race. I imagine probably will. Taking softs from now to the end of the race, not doable in my opinion. But that means that the likelihood is for Dino it's going to be onto the hards. Now the question is when is that going to happen? The softs might have been a call to go on them, so he can come in roughly at the same time as everyone else, so he still fits the pit stop pattern. Because obviously most people will pit stop roughly around the same time, and that might be a case of might be able to now get an undercut or an overcut in on some of the people in and around him due to his soft tyre choice.
Well, so far, I'll tell you this much as well. A bit of a train forming here in around the sixth position. Rosywell, Rye, all towards each other, but then Jamsey just falling a little bit short of Shadow's Gunner. Shadow's Gunner is in this kind of this vacuum of space right now. He's far ahead of Jamsey, but he just doesn't have the pace at this minute in time to catch up to Kieran and Chizzy. As I say that, good breaking point there, and that was right on the tail of Kieran, so commentator's curse there. But you can already see this battle, 3 laps out of 26, and Kieran, Chizzy, they are neck and neck with each other. We've already seen Chizzy get that overtake on Kieran, and the one thing that you know about, well, that I know about Chizzy is that he does not let leads slip easy. So Kieran's going to really need to work and gain the respect of the Season 2 champion if he wants to get first place back. But so far, I mean, listen, 3 laps in, you don't want to tempt fate here, Sergio, but a pretty clean race here so far.
So far, so good. I will say, just been monitoring the front 3, and Chrissy not so much, but I noticed that Kieran and Shadow like to take quite a lot of curb on some of the final sharp left-handers there. I believe it's actually turn 15. It's basically a sharp left-hander and downhill, and they like to take a lot of curb there, which actually jumps the car, and if you're not careful, you'll jump it too much and go headfirst into the wall. So you've got to be careful when they're pushing around that sector just before coming into the final area of this circuit, because that could potentially not only ruin your race, but that would just write the car off entirely, and that's you done, finished, out of it. So they've just got to be careful how much curb they're taking, but like you say, so far so good.
Yeah, first penalty of the season as well for multiple warnings, I think it was. Cons, who has also decided to pit here quickly. I wonder what he's opting to do here. He's gone onto some fresh hards, so went on 3-lap old hards to 0-lap old hards. I mean, he was doing quite well as well. You know, a guy that you had put a lot of, I wouldn't say disrespect on, but a lot of maybe doubt on as to whether he could maybe compete in this. Was up at 10th position at one point. Now, of course, after that pit, is dropping down into 17th. I think definitely there's some great rises here to see as well. You see Neddy down there in 18th. That right there, that's a sleeping giant. He will not be there for the entire night tonight. Do you know much about Sir Quinniff or any of these other guys? I know you talked about Hdino and Cons, but do you know this Sir Quinniff guy, or is this another stranger to you?
Another stranger to me. Never seen the name before, so that's a complete new name.
All right,
new racer.
So far, listen, if it's your debut race, we've never heard of you. 11th position, yeah, granted, only 4 laps in. Not bad at all. But again, it's this brilliant kind of top 5 for me so far. Sergio, Chizzy, Kieran, Gunnar, Jamsey, and Rye, with the likes of Rosywell, Craigar all climbing upwards. And again, some big names so far. Early days, yes, in the kind of bottom half. Your Dirty Hippos, your Ryan Parkers, your bench warmers, your Neddies, you know. This is a race where I think we're going to see a lot of twisting and changing in terms of the positions of this one. But for now, we're waiting to see Rye here going into the pits as well. So 4-lap old mediums coming off, and let's see what he goes on to. Going on to fresh hards. So how many laps are we talking about when we talk about a fresh set of hards here, Sergio? How many laps can you realistically get out of that safely?
In my opinion, you should be able to get out, I would say, near enough 3/4 of this race. You should be looking at, there's been a collision on circuit.
Oh, yeah, Rosywell. Yeah, Rosywell is the victim. He's just trying to turn his car around there. Wonder when we get the first virtual safety car of the evening. Looks like it's all clear, though. As we saw this towards the end of Season 2, Sergio, where it was a big collision, I think, on the last or second to last race of the season. I can't remember where we were. But it was a big collision. Me and Batistu were doing commentary. We said, surely, safety car. Nothing. It was just kind of like a referee waving play on in a football game. Couldn't believe it. But no safety car, and this race goes on.
Yeah, this game is a bit funny, I have to admit, with those kind of things. Obviously, they've got the ghost mode that will turn on when a car does come to a complete stop on the circuit. So that does obviously help the other drivers flying by. But with the safety cars, it's a bit hit and miss as to when they come out. But I tell you what, Rossi does need to be careful because there's front wing damage there. So he's lost his front left winglet, which is really going to affect the downforce and the cornering with that car. And I've already seen him go wide towards a wall quite aggressively as well on the outside of a corner. So possibly looking at a pit stop here for Rossi, but we'll see. If he can manage the damage, it might not be a bad idea to stay out. I mean, still in the points, you know, top 10. Mm-hmm. But the question is, can you maintain that damage and keep cars behind you as the race goes on? I mean,
well, I think your
he's coming into the
pit. Yeah, is right there. So he has pitted, and Yeah, that damage clearly causing it. I mean, that's the smart thing to do. As we said about Rossi in the build-up, this is his first kind of, F1 competitively racing. Not raced in a league before this F1 title. When you're kind of, I don't want to say an amateur, but when you are, green to the comp racing world, when you are kind of having your first kind of toe dip into a sim racing league like this, you have to be a little bit cautious, don't you?
Yeah,
oh, well,
100%.
I tell you what, Ryan Parker has just misjudged his braking point there, and it's just kind of bumped the wall. So Ryan Parker maybe going to be taking a little bit of damage there. But so far, Ryan Parker and Hayden Ellis 10th and 11th so far. I mean, you see these teams here tonight. Are you looking at any potential team? Like, you looking at the Ferraris, the Aston Martins, the Williams. What team excites you with the limited knowledge you know about some of these drivers and the big amount of knowledge you know about some of the others? Is there any team that you're looking at and going, yeah, they're a real powerhouse?
Honestly, I'm going to put my money on the Alpine.
Okay.
Lucas is a driver I've seen the name of. I've seen that name in multiple areas of the grid. But looking at more towards his teammate, who obviously, as you had said before the race, is an endurance driver. And believe it or not, even though this is more like a sprint race to him, that's key. That is really key, because that shows that the mental capacity is there. The mental fight that I was talking about before the race as well, that's already been fought. He's nailed that. If he can do endurance races, especially 24-hour races, doing stints with different drivers and swapping in and out, he's got what it takes to be a racer under pressure for long periods of time, which is why I think he's going to thrive in these kind of races. And, never know. There might be some team play coming in, like a bit of a Red Bull, Max Verstappen and Perez kind of thing, 2021. There might be some of that going on this season, who knows? But I think out of all the teams so far, from what I've seen, just from this opener, that's going to be the strongest team for me.
All right, well, listen, we're going to stay on board here with Season 2's champion, Chizzy. 7 laps in, pitted, onto fresh hard. So now he's got to play catch-up against some very, very, very strong drivers, very consistent drivers. Jamsey, because of that, has floated himself into the podium positions here in third place. And again, next to Kieran, Jamsey, towards the end of last season, in Season 2, was really one of Chizzy's kind of main thorns in his side. He was always kind of buzzing around him like an annoying mosquito. He was just kind of always there on the outside, second, third, maybe even fourth sometimes, just always around there. So again, I think teamwork here can be massive. Craig has to play his position, has to play his role, has to kind of help Chizzy as well, has to assist Chizzy, but Craig's also got to finish high enough. The interesting thing here is look where Craig is, and then look where those Alpines are that you just said. Lucas in 4th, Blazerguns in 6th. Do you think this is going to be a situation where maybe Blazerguns is going to try and perhaps hold up Chizzy ever so slightly? Is he going to maybe, politely, if there is such a thing, blocking him off, not allowing him to pass and allow there to be a gap generation? What do you think?
Yeah, I think if you're in that situation, if you're on Blazer, I would be backing the cars up behind. Slowly, not instantly, just sitting on the brakes or whatever. In a sportsman way, I'd be trying to slow down the cars behind, because not only is that helping you and others on track, but it's helping your teammate as well. Because you've got to remember, Lucas is currently sitting P2. Some people have just come in for their pit stops, Kieran being one of them, former race leader there, and Lucas is now sitting P2. So you kind of want to do everything you can to help your mate. And now we've got 2 Williams right in behind the Alpine of Blazer there. So the ideal thing is to hold up those people. Chrissy's on fresh hards, the rubber is more fresh, but the mediums are better for attacking. Canley's getting an attack on, got the DRS. No DRS zones coming up just yet. He's got to wait until he gets back to the start-finish line to engage into a DRS zone. So all he's got to do now is just try and keep within that slipstream around the corners. But as you can see here, Chrissy is going on the offensive, and Craig's just let him straight through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Understandable team tactics.
Yep, absolutely. It said they were a team last season as well, if I remember correctly. Craig played his part there, and again, he knows Chizzy well. Chizzy knows Craig well. Craig doing the right thing there from a team perspective, letting him through. And now we're talking about Chizzy back in the podium again. Jamsey, though, out in front with Lucas right behind him. And now we're going to see how Lucas potentially deals with that impending threat that is Season 2's champion. He is hot on the heels of the Alpine. And again, this is going to be an interesting one as well for Kieran. As you said there, pitted moments ago onto fresh mediums. So he keeps the same compound and just goes for a fresh set. So 8 laps out of 26 down, still surprisingly to me, a very clean evening. Only 2 penalties as well, Sergio. I mean, this could be the cleanest race at Baku we've ever seen in VFL history if it stays like this.
Yeah, it could be the cleanest race I've ever seen in the VFL F1 because last season on the GP2, there were a lot of penalties coming out on several races, and I think it was just because the racing was so, not aggressive, but energetic. Like, it wasn't, people weren't punching each other, they were just, it was a really, really good racing battle, and they were racing like they were in tin top cars, touring cars, not F1 cars, where they are rubbing a bit on the walls and things like that, which obviously you can do in most cars. These are a little less forgiving, but that's how people are getting their penalties, and they're trying to extend the track as well, which is the right mentality to have. But obviously in F1 the rules are so strict, and it's so easy just to get that, say, a quarter of an inch part of your tyre just over the white line, and then that's it, that's all it takes. Whereas obviously in other racing it's a little more forgiving, you can push the limits a little bit more, but yeah, it's very brutal in the F1, and I can't lie, I think I'm almost proud that there haven't been that many penalties so far. Hopefully there's no commentator's curse.
Yeah,
but
touch wood.
it has been quite clean, especially that castle zone.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we're just seeing it now. Hot double with Kieran. Just purely because Jamsey is so far ahead of Chizzy because he hasn't pitted yet. The big question will be for Jamsey, when does he come off those 8-lap old hards? You have to think he's still got a good while until he needs to, maybe another 4 laps, 5 laps or so before he even thinks about it. We've seen Jamsey take his wheels to the limit before. Kieran now, though, in the Williams, looking to try and get past the Alpine, but again, it's these really narrow streets here of Baku, maybe providing a little bit of difficulty for him, but he is going to just poke ahead here of Lucas and get right back into those podium positions. So for Lucas, staring at the rear of Kieran once again. Let's go down the grid and see what else we've got here. Craig has solidly stayed in 5th place for pretty much the entire race here, as we are pretty much approaching the halfway mark. 10 laps out of 26 down. Shadow's going to right behind him as well, the 2 feel-good drivers here in the Red Bull and the Ferrari. Rye as well. Again, it's that kind of middle 3 of Shadow, Gunners, Craig and Rye that you've got real hopes for. And we've just seen a pit here for Benchwarmer, who's gotten a 10-second speeding penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I asked this question to Bat Stewart when I comes with him last season, Sergio, and again, your answer may well differ, to an amateur's answer. But do you ever feel any sympathy for drivers that get a speeding in the pit lane penalty, or is that just an amateur penalty to take at this point?
Look, if we were in season 1, I'd be sitting here and I'd be sympathising. But we're in season 2. Not only that, we're
season 3.
Season 3. Sorry, we're technically in the Premier League of the VFL tiers right now. We're in GP1, which means that you should know the basics, and the basics are: you need to have your limiter on before you hit that line. Realistically, okay, you're going to lose maybe a fraction of a second, but you can make that up if your pace is good enough. And not only that, that fraction of a second may not make a difference anyway come a safety car. So it's better to be safe than sorry, in my opinion. You don't want to risk a 10-second time penalty, because losing a fraction of a second to 10 seconds, I know what I'd rather do. I mean, it's not rocket science. So I think at the stage we're in right now, with the caliber of racers that are out there as well, I don't have no sympathy. It may be an honest mistake, fair enough, but you've got to do better. You've got to look at yourself and be like, I've got to do that better.
That's fair enough. And again, from someone like Benchwarmer as well, who we know has got great quality within him over the last 2 seasons, I have to agree with you. I think, again, he's a veteran enough now in this league where that should be a thing of the past. There's Rossi Wilder just peeling ahead of Hayden Ellis. So again, Hayden Ellis, not a lot of confidence coming into this race tonight. Called himself terrible, XYZ. He's pitted again just there. But again, pitting for the second time in this race in around 10th position. He's actually played a really good race so far. So I'm loving that from Hayden Ellis. Keep it up. Keep it up. Am I doing VFL F1 right now? Spaz, what do you think? Does it look like I'm on Minecraft, mate? What do you think we're doing? I mean, this is a very, very detailed game of Minecraft if you think that this isn't F1. But yes, we are. We are indeed doing it. But out, the big one as well, Fredster. Talk about at the other end of the grid quickly. Not letting that quali mistake define him. Got the DQ, he said it was an accident. And is, again, pretty... Yes, he's at the back of the pack, Sergio. But it's very rare to see someone at the back of the pack not being a nuisance and trying their best to get back into this race. You love to see that from the car in 20th position at the minute.
Oh, certainly. And I think, Fred's just struggled to get his foot in the door tonight. I do think it's probably a momentum thing.
Oh, and Neddy has just absolutely gone into the wall there. I just saw that as he wiped out, but we're going to see the carcass of Neddy here, and there it is. I don't know if you know the sector right there for Sergio, but that's the corner that he's just died on right there. So Neddy, our first casualty here of Season 3 and of Baku tonight, and that safety car you would expect is going to be present any minute now.
Yeah, so that's at the end of Sector 1. And that is actually right at the end of the DRS zone as well. So that car is in a very dangerous spot in terms of driver safety. So yeah, that more or less is a guaranteed yellow flags. Cars do need to slow down. Safety car, virtual safety car, sorry, at the minimum needs to be released. And obviously, so forth that has. Until the car is magically cleared away. And then we can resume racing again. But yeah, right at the end of the DRS zone, if you miss your braking point, you rear-ended another F1 car, and well, you know how expensive one F1 car is to fix after going into a wall, let alone two mangled together.
And I'll tell you this much, we just talked about someone there that's going to benefit massively. If that is a virtual safety car or a full safety car, I mean, that's a great opportunity for Fred, isn't it? To kind of pit, readjust, and get going again.
Oh, 110%. It's worked out really nicely as well. Fred's got hards on at the minute. 3 laps old, fairly fresh rubber. Probably, if done correctly, can take them to the end now. So that could work out massively in this favour. If some others maybe start to struggle, we might see the likes. This is just a maybe of like Rye, Frozzy, and even Gwyneth as well, possibly coming in for a pit stop. Who knows? Because their tyres are already 6-7 laps old, and obviously that will add up quite a lot come the end of this race, because we still have a fair few laps to go. So this may work out massively in Fred's favour. I mean, maybe not points, but certainly could get back up there again, should we see any more pit stops due to this stoppage mid-race.
Well, the interesting thing to get your opinion on there is that during that kind of yellow flag, Ryan Parker's gone in, pitted, and gone on to fresh softs, and so has Cons. So does that surprise you? Again, we're not talking about the end sequence of the race. We're only halfway through here. Softs this early? That's a bit of a strategy, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly is. Now, what might have happened for those two drivers in particular is they might have seen that their tyre wear isn't going down as quick as what they expected it to. Remember, we're on a street circuit, potentially dusty air at the minute as well. Not only that, it's evening. Track is cooler than most typical circuits midday. So you're not using as much rubber, you're not burning as much, and there's not as many marbles on the track. So you're actually saving your tyres naturally by doing nothing. So they might realise that actually we're not burning that much rubber. We can probably take this off till the end. They might now be banking on other drivers possibly doing another pit stop, because I've seen quite a few cars have done a 2-stop strategy so far.
Yep.
So they might be banking on, okay, this person or that person that they're trying to target, they need to pit again. If I can make these softs last, the softs, as everyone knows, are a much better tyre for attacking. So if you've got any juice in them, best time to use them probably is now. I mean, save the best till last, right? So this would be the prime time for them to potentially attack those that are yet to pit, and they can make up the most time on those softer compounds.
Tell you what, by the way, it may not be the front of the pack here, but this battle between Benchwarmer, Ryan Parker, and H. Dino in 12th, 13th, and 14th is getting real spicy. I tell you, Ryan Parker there at one point was pushed really narrow, did so well to just keep the car from either spinning out or colliding with someone else. And again, that's why I just love these street circuits, man. They're so almost intimate in regards to how tight you have to get towards your opponents, your teammates at points. And I said so far, for there only to be one crash in 14 laps, you gotta kind of give it up to the drivers tonight, man. They've been very, very, very impressive. Only 3 penalties as well. Again, just joining us for the penalty updates. Wow, I say that, and there's been another one there. 3 seconds for Lucas, 10 seconds for Benchwarmer for speeding in the pit lane, 3 for Cons, and 3 just there for Hayden Ellis. And as you can see so far, the most used tyres in this entire circuit so far, Rye, on 9 lap old hards. So for Rye here, probably going to take this maybe another 3 laps if he can get this to around about 17 out of 26, and then I think you'll see him kind of end on mediums perhaps, but I could be wrong. You know, it's just a guesstimate.
Yeah, and we do have car off circuit temporarily. There was a yellow flag in sector 1. It's actually turn 1, right at the end of the start-finish straight. And that was Sir Gwyneth. Gone down, I believe, 1 or 2 positions there from that incident. Not entirely sure what happened. I just switched back onto the car as he's coming back onto track. The car looks okay in terms of damage. Can't see much going on, apart from... Sorry, there's actually big damage, and it's on the front wing. Both winglets are missing. They're quite hard to see from the front of view, but yeah, they look like they're missing from what I can see here. Yeah, I can confirm they are missing entirely.
He's struggling to turn there. You can just see it in that turn he just took. He was really having a kind of death grip to the right there to get through. That's one question I'd like to ask you in the build-up to quali, completely off topic away from Sir Gwyneth's issues there. I mean, obviously you're a big F1 guy. Baku, Silverstone, different types of tracks on F1 race better when you use a wheel compared to a controller. True or false? And if true, is Baku more of a wheel or controller race for you personally?
True, 100%, and Baku is a wheel race, 100%. I've tested it out. I've not got like top of the range sim racing gear. My wheel only costs 300. It's not a force feed. It's not a direct drive one. It's got force feedback. It's really strong.
Wait a minute. So hang on. What if you're saying only like you've got some sort of poverty wheel? What is like a high end wheel?
Probably nearer the realms of £700-800.
Right. Well, I'm telling you right now, if you're in this, listening to this, driving, racing, or you're even you, Sergio, and you go out there and buy a £700-800 wheel, just burn the money. Just set it on fire. There's just no need. It's just egregious. I mean, you got the money, go ahead, but fucking 800 quid on a wheel, that is crazy. Carry on anyway. Sorry, it just took me aback there a little bit.
No, that's fine. I've got a fairly strong force feedback wheel. It's not top of the range. It's probably about mid-range. And when I use that on this track, I'm absolutely flying around here. When I use a controller, okay, I'm not as good at racing on the controller as I am on the wheel at all.
Sorry, bench warmer there just nearly had a complete spin out. Holy hell, sorry, carry on.
No, that's alright. Yeah, I'm not as good of a racer on controller as I am wheel by far, but what I do know is it's much easier to hold corners and gradual turning. So, for example, in Sector 2, we have turns 13 and 14. They are slight turns along a straight. So they're just curves. They're not even corners, they're curves. And they're a lot easier to hold on a wheel than it is a controller, and plus you save your tyres a lot easier on a wheel compared to a controller as well, because obviously the axis is much bigger to turn on. With the analog stick,
whoa, another crash here.
I saw that lock up there.
Wow has just exited this one, and there is a real slowdown here, so the yellow flag's out. Rossi Wow, we're going to see maybe the carcass of the newbie, and again, so upsetting for Rossi Wow. 15 laps in, I thought he's had a brilliant race again, and there you go, that's where his wheel was. So just on that straight, kind of, as we head towards the end of Sector 3. So that's really disappointing. Again, so similar to what we saw from Rossi Wow in Season 2, Sergio. 15, 16 laps of just really calm, brilliant racing, and then something happens, and then his race goes up in smoke, quite literally here tonight. So disappointing for him, but again, another opportunity for the guys to pit. And with 10 laps to go now, especially since Kieran, prior to that incident, had just pitted and put on some fresh hards, you would think here this is a great opportunity for Shadow Gunners and Chizzy to now maybe match Kieran, wouldn't you say?
100%. This is a prime opportunity for multiple drivers, actually. Obviously, we still have the caution out at the moment. The car, from what I've seen, went out in Sector 3. Obviously, we saw the tyre on track. That was the only remnants of the car. Just shows you how hard the car hit the wall.
It evaporated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, completely gone. Nothing but pink mist after that one. And now, obviously, a lot of these drivers are going to pounce on that. Now, we've seen a lot of the guys that, well, I say a lot of them, there were only actually 3 drivers that were on a soft tyre in the end. They've now all swapped to medium. So basically, everyone's pit strategies and everything like that seems to have just reset based on this safety car. And I think this is now going to be a case of those people that are still on the hards, they're probably going to try and make it last to the end of the race. Because
go on, sorry.
If you come in now after, like, say the safety car ends now, if you come in to do your pit stop, for example, after it ends, that's game over in a way, because you're adding time on
Yeah.
Whereas if you do it now, you're saving it, which is exactly what Chrissy and Shadow are actually doing now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I said, I mean, to pit now and have those 0 to 1 lap old hards is going to be such a benefit. You would think here, Lucas, yep, just about to come in as well. And realistically, you would think, again, he will join the rest of them on some fresh, hard tyres here. But you can see Chizzy, Kieran, Shadow's Gunner, Rye, Blazer Guns, and now Lucas going on to fresh mediums. Well, I mean, I don't hate that, Sergio. 9 laps, you can make fresh mediums last for 9, can't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100% you could. The people that are on 9-lap hards, for example, take Rossi. The reason Rossi is now out of the session and was struggling, they lost vibration in every corner, and the car felt like it was floating, which is another vital part of sim racing. The vibration and the force feedback really does help. And when it completely goes, I know how bad it is because everything just goes lightweight. If you've ever, driven an actual car, it's like driving on black ice. It just goes. You can't control it. So I completely sympathise for Rossi there. But apart from that, there was no actual struggle for the hards, which were not laps old. And the people that had mediums that were sort of approaching 7 laps, again, I don't see any pace dropping off there. They're maintaining lap times, and they're actually slightly improving as well. But you're behind a safety car, maybe for another lap or two. That's also another lap or two. You don't have to push your tyres. All you've got to do is keep them warm. So that's extra grip you're going to be able to keep till the end. So I think the people on the mediums really do have a shot here at attacking those that are on the hards. For example, like Lucas, really trying to push that pressure onto Ryan now, and then even Lisp as well, backing that up. And also trying to go on the attack, because this could be a chance for them to really push up if this pack close up, which, if I'm not mistaken, if the rules are still the same, the pack has to close up before the safety car actually disappears.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm saying. It's a great. I think we're in for a fantastic final 9 laps here, not just at the front, but also at the back. We talked about how Fredstall is going to be massively benefiting from the last the last incident, but he's really benefiting now because of the actual full-on safety car coming out. You already see that the time, the bottom left of your screen, already climbing up and nearly back within single-digit seconds within the rest of the pack. So he just needs to kind of put his foot down here, catch up, and there's a real potential that Fred will not finish this race in last tonight. So he kept his head, he kept calm, he's kept in this race, and he may well end up being rewarded because of his patience here. So big well done to him as well. So right now, podium, of course, Chizzy, Kieran and Shadow's Gunner with points in the top 10 going to Rye, Lucas, Michael, Lisp, Blazer Guns, Jamsey, Dirty Hippo, the German, and Ryan Parker. But again, with everyone nice and close and compact now, this is going to be a real gunfight for the finish, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's basically going to be a sprint. And that, obviously, that is what we have to look forward to this season as well, sprint races. And that's pretty much what this is going to be. It's going to be a sprint race to the finish now. And we're going to see some elbows out, which is the most exciting part, especially on that Sector 3. You've got those fast, shallow curbs, which a lot of people struggle with, including myself, because you're going at such high speed. If you just overturn or even just get a bit of understeer, you're gone completely. And that's exactly what happened to Rossi in that section.
Yeah, so again, have to echo it. Really sad for Rossi and Neddy as well. So Neddy, a great driver. I called him a sleeping giant earlier on in this race when he's down in 18th. 2 of those guys that easily have the capability of finishing in the top 10, and you're going to have to hope that they just go again next week. And I think, again, such a great opening first race of the season, and that's without the big high-profile racer that is Sean Tiller. Sean Tiller was another one last season and the season before in GP1 that was giving the likes of Chizzy and Jamsey and Kieran a real run for their money. So I'm sure Sean, the Irishman, will be kind of sat there somewhere looking at this and look at his lips, just counting down the days to get back involved next week in race week 2. As well, just there, Hayden Ellis takes another penalty. A reminder for the penalties coming in here as we go towards the last 8 laps of the evening. 3 seconds for Lucas, 3 seconds for Cons, 3 for Hdino, and 6 seconds there for Hayden Ellis. Right now you can see that's what the tyres are looking like. The most wear on the tyre, so probably you would say here, Sergio, the biggest loser of the safety car. Dirty Hippo, 8 lap old hards.
Yeah, that is also going to be the biggest
Oh,
challenge
and
on
Ryan
track.
Parker has just seemingly, I don't know where he's died. I mean, he's just died there. There you go. That's where his car has effectively died. So no idea what's happened to Ryan Parker there, but effectively disintegrating there in Sector 3 pretty much. So Ryan Parker joins the pile up there with 20 turning into 17 now. Don't think we're going to be seeing any extension of the safety car. It didn't look like a blaze of glory that Ryan Parker went out in there, but there you go. Hayden Ellis says, I just paused the game to see I got another 3 seconds whilst on pause. Well, there you go. Don't ever have the game on pause. You can't rely on the ghosting to save you, Ellis. And it was a shame because you had such a good period there as well. I mean, you still had a good period in 13th position. You're not looking like you're going to be the bottom feeder here tonight. So 6 laps and a bit to go, 6.5 laps to go here. Safety car should be going in any lap now, right, Sergio?
Yeah, I think we're going to be in the race and commence here very shortly. And like I say, if the rules are still the same, which I'm pretty sure they are, we're basically just waiting for Fredster to close that gap. And once that gap is a little closer, I believe we'll be getting underway. The key to look for will be the safety car lights. Obviously, once their top runner bars switch off, that's when you know the car is in this lap. And there you go. There's the warning. So the leader, Chrissy, is now going to maintain the pace and back the pack up for letting loose and getting us back underway for what is going to be a 6-lap shootout.
Yeah, absolutely. Corey as well. Is there a division for slow fucks like me in the league? I can tell you this much, Michael is very interested. There's a 10-second penalty there for Cons with a severe collision on Craig. So what happened there, no one knows, but you'd hope then it doesn't really impact Craig too much. Do you see any damage on Craig's car here, Sergio?
Let me go have a look and see if I can spot any. No, I can't see any damage, but then again, the cars are very backed up at the minute, but I'll tell you in just one moment as we're just getting underway, so I'll bring the damage back to you in a second.
Brilliant, awesome. But yeah, for Corey, again, just to go back to your question, Michael is very, very interested in getting a GP2 going, so hop in the Discord, man. Like I said, he just wants to make sure that everyone is really committed to it before he kind of announces it, so definitely hop in every Monday. It's there for you. What did you see, Sergio? As you heard you gasp there.
Yeah, oh, there we go again. So I didn't see any damage on Craig's car. There's going to be now because Craig has just been... I feel like saying put into the wall is the wrong term, but I can't think of anything else off the top of my head right now. But I believe it was Dirty Hippo, the 9-lap-old hard runner in the Mercedes, had just connected with the car of Craig there, and I think he's just gone around again. He has. And he's just sent him into the wall. Unfortunately, they've locked tyres and they've gone straight into the wall, and we did have a racing bull as well go into the back of Craig on the restart into turn 1, so into the braking zone. There was just no braking from the car behind, straight into the back. So that racing bull is now missing part of its front wing, and if I'm not mistaken, it was the person I called out at the start of the session. Yes, it was Cons. His front right winglet is missing, which means his downforce throughout the corners is going to be to a minimum, and he's really going to struggle now on some of those corners where he needs that downforce to turn the car.
There you go. It said all kicking off on the restart after the safety car. Rosywell saying as well, I am stupid, and a new line, literally. So, I mean, it happens, man. Baku is a killer. But again, I thought you had a really good 15 laps. You know, new season, same thing, Rosy. You know, it's just kind of getting that over the line and making sure you can complete the race, because you looked phenomenal tonight. You really did. So, top 10 driver absolutely in your day. And look at this battle here at the top, so between Chizzy and Kieran. Kieran trying his absolute hardest just to poke forward ahead of Chizzy, but Chizzy surviving it and keeping first place as we stand. One thing I will say to you, you saw that incident between Dirty Hippo and Craig R. Will Craig R. be advised to report that to the FIA, or did that not look intentional? Did that look accidental from Dirty Hippo, in your opinion?
I sense that a report will come in from that restart, but the question is whether it'll be for the shunting back from the Racing Bull driver from, I believe it was Cons, or will it be for the putting in of the wall? Because I mean, when you go back and watch that replay of it at the end of the race, you know, drivers may see it differently, and you're always told as a driver, look back at your incidents, don't instantly try and call someone out, because it never goes to plan. because heat at the moment, hot-headedness, you need to get that work system calmed down and then just reevaluate it from a level-headed point of view. But I think we might see a protest coming potentially from Craig, and if we do, I'm not going to blame him, in my opinion, because if I was in his situation now, I probably would be too, because I do feel a bit hard done by, because it did look like a bit of a dive up the inside. We are on the restart, cars are bunched up, but there's this, there's a barrier there, there's a limit, and I feel like that limit was passed.
Well, while you were just giving us that overview there, Chizzy on one of the exits has just bumped the wall, Sergio, and now look at this gap of distance that Kieran has over Chizzy. Chizzy putting his foot down, trying to catch up here, but this is a brilliant position to be in if you're VRL Kieran against your long-term rival. Currently, 4 laps to go, head intact, hasn't exploded, hasn't had a bad lap, and is looking likely to maybe take race week 1 here in Baku.
Yeah, Chrissy just keeping within DRS there, has it on this sector, Sector 1, one of only 2 DRS points in this circuit, now heading around to Turn 4. And heading up towards Turn 5 and 6, he might have the benefit in the corners because he's keeping the time sort of equal at the minute. It's not going up, it's not going down, it's just staying about where it is, but I think maybe there's a bit of a confidence knock due to that collision with the wall there that you saw. So that might be something that plays on Chrissy's mind. So now it is going to be that mental battle: is can Chrissy see past that and try and push harder?
Whoa! I just saw something fly by Chizzy there. Was that the wing of Kieran? I just saw some black object just whiz on by Kieran as he was just gaining speed there. Well,
yes.
So that's. I mean, do you see anything on Kieran's car that indicates that
yes.
it's damage?
I can tell you this: both front winglets are missing on that front wing.
I mean, you could see it. He has gained on Kieran massively there. That could be the one mistake that causes Kieran's race to implode here. That's huge, and Chizzy may have just got the ultimate lifeline here with about 3 laps to go, Sergio.
Yeah, with those front winglets missing, especially if you're missing both, one is bad enough because one corner may turn better than the other kind of thing, whereas with both missing, you're basically turning the micro compared to an F1 car. It's just not going to happen. At the speed you're going in at the corner at, you don't have that extra bit of bodywork there to help pull the car around, because they really do help pull that front end around, and without that pull on the front end, you're just going to understeer in every corner. So now you have to go in a little slower, you have to be a bit more cautious. This is where Chrissy will probably get him, and probably pretty soon as well, because straight line speed, probably about the same. But into the corners, Chrissy's going to be miles ahead, and as you said, the gap's closed up big time. That is why those winglets are really important, and they're so easy to knock off accidentally. And we've just seen here, Kieran's done 2 in 1 corner.
Now, the other thing I wanted to say to you, now maybe my eyes deceive me, I do have 4 of them, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but does it look to you like in this last couple of laps we've got a little bit of overcast forming here? Do you reckon we can maybe see some rain here, or is that impossible?
Never impossible. When it rains at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, it rains, it pours, it's horrendous. So if we do see rain, it could be torrential, but it may only be for the last lap. I don't think it's going to warrant enough for any change onto intermediate tyres. The track isn't going to get wet enough. It won't be here long enough to actually dampen the circuit. There will be some, because it is just a street circuit. The streets are made to wash away rain, so they will have a bit of camber in them. That should keep them dry enough towards the end of the race, so we shouldn't see any tyre changes in terms of different weather.
Alright, well, there you have it. And the expert himself is Chizzy here, by the way, now about to go for the overtake, and he is going to get it. So now the focus goes from Kieran keeping the lead to Chizzy keeping the lead. And with those issues with the front of the car, is this now a formality to you, Sergio? Is this a done deal? Is this a Chizzy win today with that damage?
Yes, as long as Chizzy can keep it out the wall, because the moment you asked me that, and you said my name, Chizzy did brush the wall again, but he's brushing it with the side of his car, which is ruining the side pods, which ultimately affects straight line speed. So if he keeps grazing the walls like he has been over the last couple of laps, whether that's something getting in his head, whether it's us, maybe he's watching the broadcast and putting them off, I don't know. But what I do know is once you get damage on those side pods, that's going to slow down the straight line. And that is where Kieran has his speed. It's in the corners where Chrissy is better. So they're kind of, I'd say they're bringing it about even if Chrissy does actually have damage on them side pods. That's unfortunately a part of the car I can't see that well. So I can't confirm if there is any damage there or not. From what I can see, I would say probably not. But normally when you do get that damage there, they're big holes. It looks like someone shot a tech round through it, for example. So it does get quite a beating if you do scrape balls. The question is on these DRS straights, can Kieran get his car in front? If he can just get his nose in front, he can park it on that turn one and really hinder Chrissy's pace and potentially see out the race.
Well, there you go. Not too long to go now, and they're still neck and neck. Of course, here, Shadow's gonna. We haven't really talked about the race for third. There isn't seemingly a race for third because look at that behind Shadow's gonna. Nothing but clean air and nothing to look back at. So it looks like Shadow's gonna today, one of the most improved drivers of the last 2 seasons, is going to take a podium. Rye, a phenomenal drive here tonight in 4th position. Jamsey in 5th. Michael in 6th. Blazerguns, the newcomer, having his first race with us, currently in 8th, could be up to 7th or 6th based on those penalties that Lucas has got. But yeah, I mean, a really kind of compact race here tonight across all areas of the track. Only 4 retirements: bench warmer, Ryan Parker, Rossi Wow and Neddy. So 4 out of 20 isn't the worst. It's not terrible. And you have to kind of, like I said, keep giving the plaudits to the drivers tonight. It's been a very, very, very good race indeed here in Baku.
Yeah, certainly has. I mean, points that we touched on earlier in the race as well. Me saying that Alpine, I feel, were going to be a strong team. Again, they're 6th and 8th at the minute with the Williams in between them. I mean, all 3 are really close together. I generally think that team will see out this season in quite a strong position. Definitely contenders for the constructors there. But I will say as well, shout out to Fredster. I mean, may not be in the points, P15 overall. Doesn't matter how he got there, but he's there. Yeah, exactly. That's 5 places up from where he was, and he was DQ'd before the night even started. So that's a massive improvement there for Fredster. So maybe not driver of the day, but he's definitely getting up there.
Absolutely. Well, we go in then to this turn, which will kind of kick off the beginning of the final lap of the evening here in Baku. And so far, all we've had a caution is Cons has effectively just died. We're going to see where that's happened. Has that been...
That's in Sector 2. That is high end of the castle.
Just
we go.
The
get
castle,
out the Charles Leclerc corner.
The castle always claims a life. It may have taken 26 laps, Sergio, but it's claimed another one here in a VFL season. So for Cons, maybe you could make the argument here, Sergio deserved for that kind of role he played in that incident with Craig, but he is out. That's going to suck for him because so close to finishing the race here tonight, but not possible, and immediately dies in lap 26 of 26.
Yeah, I think it is unfortunate. I know Cons likes to be a driver that always drives on the attacking line rather than defensive. Can defend, I'm not saying he can't, but yeah, definitely more of an attacking driver, and knowing him, he's attacking from minute 1 to the last minute, and unfortunately, possibly grip getting the better of him towards the end. Maybe a little bit of contact. He just actually put a message in there. He's kissed the wall ever so slightly at the castle. First time he's done all race, as Wheel decides doesn't want to be there anymore and just disappears. So he's lost a wheel due to that slight knock on the wall. Gutting.
But that's how it goes. In the end, I mean, I'm surprised as well, by the way. Dirty Hippo on 15-lap-old hard. It's not going to really do anything in terms of getting him points. Maybe it will because of the... Well, no, it still won't actually because of those time penalties. But yeah, props to him making those last. But again, it's a new season. It's a new month of the year, Sergio. But I've seen this so many times. For you, this is the first time you'll see it. And you'll see it a lot of times here. Tonight, Baku, Azerbaijan GP winner. Season 3, race week 1, Chizzy, the Season 2 champion, has done it here again. And Kieran is going to be so annoyed with that because it was so close to being his tonight. However, it's a long season, 10 weeks of non-stop racing. Every Monday at 9:30 p.m. Kieran needed to get second place tonight and does. And fair play, fair shouts to Shadows Gunner and Rye. I pointed out Shadows Gunner in pre-race. You pointed out Rye in pre-race. 3rd and 4th for them respectively. Jamsey in 5th. The new boy, Blazer Guns, the endurance racer, in 6th position. Michael back to the grid with a great performance in 7th. Lucas in 8th. And it looks like Sir Quinniff, even though he had that tricky start in the first 10 laps, is in the points in 9th, with Craig also getting into the points in 10th. Dirty Hipper finishing 11th, HDinho in 12th, Hayden Ellison 13th. Great from him, considering he didn't have a lot of faith in himself. Frost Tactic, Griminus in 14th, and then Fredster there in 15th with the Kick Sauber. In the end, it was looking like 20th for Fred. He kept calm, he kept his wits about him, and he's going to finish the race tonight, albeit not in the points, but 15th position rather than 20th position. A great race, and only 5 deaths tonight. That is the lowest death rate we've seen in a VFL season in Baku ever. So fair play and props to all of you there tonight. Any words on what you, I don't know, what you liked, you didn't like here tonight, Sergio? Anyone that impressed you, or maybe you wanted more from? Anything on that tonight?
Well, just a fantastic night overall. I mean, you know, we've seen the lowest amount of penalties, we've seen the lowest amount of incidents, in my opinion, that I've seen in a VFL season or in any race. So fantastic tonight, especially on a tight street circuit as well. Probably up there with the Monaco sort of difficulty level. It's not easy at all, but the individuals were obviously, the top 2 did fantastic. I can't remember the name of the driver, sorry, but I think it was the Ferrari in 3rd. I would say quality race. Very consistent, lap times were always there, and was keeping out of trouble and managed to get on the podium in the end as well. So fantastic there, and obviously a shout out to Fredster for pulling a comeback there as well.
Well, there you go. We'll give you that kind of view here of the best lap and the points and the positions here tonight. As race week 1, season 3 comes to an end. It's another Chizzy victory. How many times are we going to say that this season is the big question. A great performance from everyone tonight. A brilliant setup here by Michael and everyone involved. Even Tiller, who wasn't here tonight, but a big help, of course, on the race director board. Again, fellas, remember, every Monday, 9:30 p.m. UK, get involved. All levels are welcome. Michael is looking to get that GP2 going. The Discord link is there in the big VFL Discord. Go to the tag request area. It's there. The F1 Discord link is there. Get involved. Bring a friend. As long as you race clean and aren't completely stupid, you're all welcome to come aboard and race. Any incidents tonight, for example, like we saw with Craig R, make sure that you please submit that to the FIA. Any penalties that need to be handed out will be handed out. But yeah, of course, no clip, no party, as we always say. So make sure that you've got a clip of anything you are going to report. Sergio, it's been an absolute pleasure commentating with you for the first time, and looking forward to the next 9 weeks, my friend.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you very much to yourself and obviously everyone that's helping out in the VFL F1 in general for bringing me back, and yeah, look forward to another great season.
There you go. Awesome. We'll see you guys next week. Race week 2, and it is another fan favourite. You're asking me where, who, what, when. Race week 2, Abu Dhabi. We'll see you then. Good night. Take it easy, and I'll be on Discord if you need me.